Good afternoon. This is a meeting of the Riggs County Commission, November 16th, 2:30. Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to roll call. Averill.
Here.
Tranby.
Here.
Zorn. Absent. Edlund.
Here.
And Wakefield. Have a look at the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Second by Tranby. Any further discussion on the agenda? Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Agenda approved. If you'll have a look at the November 2nd meeting minutes, and when they're ready, we'll need a motion to approve, and I assume we'll waive the reading.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes and dispense with the reading.
We have a motion by Edlund to approve the minutes as presented and dispense with the reading. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Second by Averill. Any further discussion on the meeting minutes? Barring no discussion, all in favor of approving the November 2nd meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. November 2nd meeting minutes approved. Have a look at the bills, please. Sam, anything stand out on the bills?
There was one for the Bank of North Dakota for $30. That is, they missed $30 on our bill for the payment, so this is just added on to there. So they apologize for that. Other than that, I didn't see anything. The National Child Safety Council for $140. That was a check we got in, and then it's going right back out. So it's already in, and we're just paying it out of here. So it's nothing from the county.
Okay, so all these negative balances, what can you tell us about them?
The general courthouse, I kind of spoke about that before. We had those grant funds that went out. I wasn't sure what the payback was going to be, so I didn't want to take it out of in and out. So that's why that's over.
So that would be,
Those are those grant funds that
Right.
Annie came in and talked to you guys about. We're gonna get, she is, thinks that it's gonna be 95% back. But-
so looking at this on page 2, that would be the $20,000.
Anything that says, general courthouse.
Well, that one says general DES communications.
Yeah, so that would be, those are for your radios. So that's not budgeted money in this year's, but it needed to be paid out, but it is budgeted money for next year's. But you guys gave them the authority to go ahead with those.
That's a Jamestown Communication stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Bob.
Yeah, those are your radios.
And then the Crown appraisals, I don't see that in there, the bill. I didn't see it in there
I
anywhere.
thought we paid that.
No.
Nope, we
No, we
didn't.
just got it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just the first half I'm thinking of that we paid then.
No one paid anything of that bill.
They
No.
paid it down?
No.
No.
Crown appraisals.
Mm,
Yeah,
It was supposed to be 7,000.
yeah.
It's supposed to be in here. Let me go through
'Cause you
it.
sent the thing to me and I sent to you.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
with the thing and then also the bill on it, you know.
Yeah.
So, I didn't see it here, so.
So if you'd like to add that one, it would be Crown appraisals for 7,000.
Okay.
That was,
They said between 6 and 7. they
yeah,
said,
it got to
so,
be
yeah,
to 7 and,
Yeah,
remember seeing that, so I thought I
Yeah.
gave that to Chelsea, but
yeah.
must have missed it.
So back to these accounts that are over, that you said the National Child Safety Council, that's gonna be a reimbursement?
Yep, that's already in and out. So the negative balances that you see on the in and out is not really negative, it just doesn't have a budget amount in there.
On that one?
Yep. So then that's, so that, one for Robert Hook, that 200, that's in and out, so that's already done. It's not actually negative. The DES communications, that's your radios that you guys gave them authority to go ahead with, so they can get the reimbursement. General courthouse, those are the grant funds that I was speaking about before. Road supply, not really sure on that one. The next one would be general courthouse, the next one would be road supplies, not really sure on that one. In and out, we're good. 911, NDACO, that's just your payment comes into that fund and out, so, yeah.
Okay, so the Robert Hooker's at Sheriff's Department, I don't
Nope, that one was for, that,
I had a guy dismantle that patrol car to sell,
yep,
and he was promised payment. The bill didn't come to the commission meeting, so I paid it out of my pocket so he could get paid.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the invoices with the addition of the Crown appraisals for 7,000.
We have a motion by Edlin to approve the bills as presented with the addition of Crown appraisals at 7,000.
7,000, yep.
Yeah. And I'll second that.
We have a second by Tranby. We'll move on to a voice vote. Aye in positive, nay in negative. Averill.
Aye.
Tranby.
Aye.
Edlund.
Aye.
Wakefield votes aye. Bills approved. Sheriff Hook and the Sheriff's Office. Pages 15 through 23. I'm not sure if there-
Burley County jail grant, or jail contract.
Yeah, so,
The only reason we have a contract with Burley County, that's the only place we can get female prisoners housed. And their cost went up from $75 to $100 a day. That's the only time we'd ever use them, but we have to have a contract with them to get them in.
do we ever use it ever?
Yeah, we've used it.
We have used it.
That's how this came about.
Okay.
We were in a rock and a hard place.
Most of it goes to Jamestown.
The males, females are very difficult to place in Jamestown Valley City.
Do we need a motion to approve this contract then?
There hasn't been in the past, but whatever works, I just need to know.
Yeah, I think you should have them. Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the inmate housing agreement at BMDC.
And the signature block indicates the agency head, so that'd be my signature, so I will do that and we'll get that sent out. Last meeting, I talked about staffing.
Just have a-
We have a motion on the
Yeah, I'll
floor
second
to
it.
approve the Burley County Sheriff's Department
I'll make second on that one.
Detention Center. Do we have a second to that?
Maybe-
Second by Tranby. And by approving this, we're giving Sheriff Hook the ability to sign on behalf of the county, is that correct?
Yep.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Contract approved. All right, Bob, what else?
I told you last week I'd have a definite on this week on staffing. So here you go. Deputy Hager's last day was yesterday. He went to work for Valley City Police Department. Shane Johnson is done with the county. He is going to the North Highway Patrol. He is basically on vacation till the 24th. And Dalton Hassel is leaving November 29th and is leaving law enforcement because it's not compatible with his life and his young child.
And then we're getting that other new guy though, right?
Yeah, Mike Beaver has agreed to come to work here. He's originally from Bedford. I had him here last meeting, but we didn't quite get to that. That's what we said as of today.
Did you advertise for that position? Because legally we have to advertise.
And we've been ongoing application on since the meeting.
Is that the only applicant?
I have one other, and I interviewed in Bismarck twice. I've talked to him. He's interested in coming here. His wife is a social worker, and they think they found employment for here, or in the neighborhood, so. I was gonna try and get him out here next week to do a formal interview. Mike has agreed to come down and visit with him. And I guess I'll be very frank, Mike is Beaver has showing interest in the sheriff's position.
How much longer can you do this, Bob? That's my other question for you.
I just talked to the pollster yesterday, my time is up.
Right.
It's basically up. There's no waivers for it, there's nothing I can. The statute's pretty clear on the sheriff. Had I been a line officer, I would have been past due,
Yeah.
so.
So do we have to have like pick a date and have a date and if this Mike gentleman is interested in the sheriff to, do we have to vote him into position? How does that all work?
You guys appoint him.
Or appoint
Yeah,
him?
So, my intention would be to hire him as a deputy. He can't start until the 9th of December.
Okay,
They just had a new baby. He just literally Monday came off parental leave.
Okay.
And by their policy, he could not, when on parental leave, they cannot submit a resignation letter.
right.
So he did that Monday. His intention started to be here on the 9th.
Okay.
He's legal, live in Binford.
So the options are to appoint from within, appoint from without,
Yep.
call a special election, or wait until the next scheduled election. Is that correct, Jamie? Those are four options?
Appoint, hold a special election, or you can appoint an interim sheriff until the next election cycle,
Next,
so it'll
yeah.
be next year.
Yeah. So
Easiest
at
probably.
the outside, we're going to have a duly elected sheriff by next November.
Yeah.
Or possibly at the primary in April. I'm not sure how that works.
I mean, well, June actually is the primary, you know.
7th, yeah.
Yeah,
June.
June, yeah.
The
So
first-
you'd be holding a
first two-
special election for a sheriff position.
What's that?
You'd be holding a special election for a sheriff position.
Well, no, the
When?
primary, the next scheduled countywide election would be the
June.
primary.
Yeah, June.
But the sheriff's position is 4 years, not, there's 2 years left on that.
So it'd be the unexpired, or unexpired
Yeah,
term.
unexpired term. So when you if you appoint somebody,
Yeah.
it would be to fill out that position, and that person then would be considered to be elected sheriff. There's no,
In November,
is when you do it,
right,
yeah. And from that point forward, until the next election,
yeah.
that person would fill the seat as a, but the sheriff won't be elected for 2 more years.
No, No,
It's an unexpired term that would fill,
So
he would fill those 2 years and then there would be an
Right, yeah,
election
that's what I'm
again in
saying.
2 years.
I've only got, we're only at 1 year of the election.
no,
I've been sheriff for 1 year.
we have the ability to appoint until the next scheduled
Right.
election.
Right.
Or the ability to appoint to fill out the term.
Right,
But of course, we would want the citizens to make the choice, so
Right.
we'd appoint to the next scheduled election, which would be November,
right.
yeah.
How does that work? You pretty much just decide and then say, here's what I think who it should be, and then we,
Well, I would recommend him, he's got the credentials to do the job, he wants to live in Griggs County, he wants to move here, he's from here. He wants to live in Binford, he has family history in Binford.
yeah.
And what would be your last day then, when you're thinking,
Well, I would have to be done by the first of the year.
okay,
Really, the state has kind of turned a blind eye to this, because
okay.
they went through a new post board secretary, and there's been changes there, I just spoke with the new post board secretary yesterday.
Okay.
And during training, since this gentleman's so new,
What's that?
during training, since this gentleman's so new, would you be
Which guy?
whoever takes over the new sheriffs, would you be available to be like a consultant or?
If that's what you would be looking for.
No, but he's
Okay.
he's trained.
Yeah, he's trained, yeah, he's been
He
out almost
doesn't have
10
to go
years.
anywhere.
Oh, okay,
So
so,
where's he?
It'd just be new at being an actual sheriff position, correct?
He's deputy right now.
right.
Yeah, he is the head deputy up there.
And
They're in the same boat everybody else is in small counties, they're shorthanded all the time.
Is he in Walsh County?
Wells County.
Wells County.
President.
Pleasanton.
Do we have the ability to reach out to another county, Jamie, and for the interim and co-op with another county to fill the sheriff's position?
I think we do. I think actually there were some AG's opinions that agreed on some other stuff we came across that one a couple weeks ago. I think the sheriff's position, the county has the ability to do a joint powers agreement with another county for a sheriff's position.
So I think we should have you put together what the options are for the next meeting so we can
Okay.
actually figure out which way we're supposed to go
When is your next meeting?
December 7th.
7th.
Pearl Harbor Day. No, was that different? Yeah.
I'm assuming that joint powers would be an interim situation.
From my perspective, I think everything should be interim to the point where we can have a general election and let the
Totally
people
agree with you.
decide.
Totally, I've always felt that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my opinion. There's many different
I
options.
think the citizens need to be the ones that elect their sheriff.
I agree.
And I think that's for all elected officials.
Yep.
It's their people.
Anything else, Bob?
That should be it.
So, your budget,
Yep.
what happened? Why is the total budget already $18,000 over and we have 2 months left to go?
Bulk of that is filling shifts when Brian was at training and other events.
Yeah, looks like employee stuff.
It was no discretionary spending out of control for equipment or excess.
So the sheriff's salary is already over by,
That's
The
because of
sheriff's salary
the
has been through this
retirement.
Before, my
You-
sheriff's salary has not changed
Yeah,
one
you
cent.
guys
I didn't
paid.
ask that, I'm asking the question why the sheriff's salary is over. Don't get defensive.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the
I'm just
balance
saying we've
sheet
been
here.
through this 3 times,
42
it's been answered 3 times.
$4,200 over, and the chief deputy's salary is $6,300 over.
The sheriff's one is because we are paying the retirement to him, not out of the retirement
Okay,
budget. So that's why it's coming, that
and the
one.
chief deputy,
He's got the same salary since the day he started, was budgeted for, he's not making any.
That one
extras.
is because Shane's was being taken out of there as well.
Oh, because he still had the 6,000 still in the
So
other
you-
one,
you
so
have-
it's kind of like the two.
Because there was Bob, Shane, Dalton, and Brian all working, and there was only 3 line items. So then Shane's was being taken out of that chief deputy, but was being paid the same as the deputy.
So the balance of the chief deputy salary from today till the end of the year will not be expended. And likely Dalton's salary will not be expended.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to amend this budget to the end of the year because it's already, every line item, or the total budget is over. There's some line items that are left in there that have money, but the total budget is over. So we're gonna need a projection, a detailed projection of what we're gonna have to amend this budget to get us to the end of the year.
Okay, I'll have that to you tomorrow morning.
Well, I mean, the next meeting's fine.
I'll get it tomorrow. We'll be done with it.
Yeah. You don't expect any major expenditures before the next meeting, it's just the basic salaries?
The only thing that's hinging is if the pickup goes down.
Okay.
What's the latest on that, Bob?
He's gonna fix it next week, that trailing arm.
Yeah, well, with the other pickup, the new one, what's the latest?
There's one.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we discussed about he could order one, right?
Well, that was,
Wait,
that was before we lost all the, we don't have anybody to
We don't have
drive
the
them, we
city
don't have any,
contract.
we don't
Oh.
have with any contracts in place, we can't enter into, I wouldn't believe, a
Yeah.
contract with the city or the,
'Cause we
or the school until we have a fully staffed police department.
Okay, wow.
So, I mean, and the other thing that comes to mind, how do we know what the duly elected sheriff come November is gonna wanna do? Is he gonna wanna do the policing contract with Cooperstown? Is he gonna wanna do the school deputy? We can't force somebody into that position, correct? Cause Bob was the one that made the decision, and we went with Bob's decision, but we can't force that on the next sheriff. I mean, that would be, so those things, I believe, Jamie, have to be put on hold until we know, till we have cooperation from whoever the next duly elected sheriff is. That's my understanding of it.
That would be my opinion. I mean, we don't wanna enter into a contract that we can't hold up our end of the bargain for, and that, the new sheriff, he doesn't have to do that. We can't force, the commission can't force him to be involved in that contract. If he wants to terminate the contract, he can. So I don't see any reason to go through the work of doing it if we don't know that the next sheriff is gonna wanna do it.
And it could narrow our pool of who would wanna be sheriff too.
But don't we still need a vehicle? Even
Well,
if there's one
we still
employee,
have-
don't we still need a vehicle
We
that's
still have-
functioning, or?
But if we're breaking down to one cop, we still have one decent vehicle left. We still have that SUV too.
There's two SUVs.
There's
Two.
Okay.
So, I mean, sounds like we're okay on vehicles, but if we get more police, then more officers, I'm sorry. If we get more officers, then yeah, we should probably look into another one then.
Wonder if he hires 2 people for the end of the year, then what?
Well, let's see where this thing
Yeah.
plays out. Right now, we're dealing with a situation where we have 0 people come the end of the year, maybe 1. And so let's prioritize this and try to get to a point where we actually have some functionality to the sheriff's department, and then determine what's needed as far as equipment goes. And it's probably the same needs, that's fine, but we need to tackle the big questions here first, and hopefully with Bob's help, we get that done, but
Yep.
that's where we need to be.
Have you talked to him about this, the contract? To the new, to the new,
Yes, he's fully aware.
what's going
We
on?
spent several hours together going through A to Z with the county.
Okay.
But
No, I'm
that is
just-
not the duty of the sheriff. The sheriff doesn't get to name the new sheriff. That will be a decision of these 5 people here.
Correct.
Weighing all the possibilities to start with, and weeding it down to whatever our decision is. But there's a whole bunch of options that are prescribed by the Century Code, and we have to go through and evaluate each one of them, to which is the best interest of Griggs County. So right now, we don't know who's going to be the new sheriff. We know who might possibly be, but nobody can talk, well, when you take over, here's what you're going to do, because we haven't got to that point yet. And to do that would discriminate against somebody that we don't even know might want to be the sheriff. So those discussions can't take place until we get to the point where we're gonna have those discussions. And that'll have to be a scheduled meeting and an agenda item.
Okay.
I will say this about Mike. A lot of places have made the mistake of bringing people in from outside world. And it doesn't usually work out. We've all talked about that, you know. He speaks the language, he drinks the Kool-Aid, he knows it. So I think I give him a very serious look once he's here. And then that's gonna be up to you guys, but
Yeah, and our job is to get it to a point where the people can make their choice.
Right.
That's our sole purpose, and it's not to try to put somebody in a position so that they can then win the next election. It's to get it to the point where the people can make their choice.
and he's fully aware of that
Yeah.
fact too. So
And
he's not
then
coming in this
so
line.
no different than when you
I
came
laid it all on
back.
the line for him, this what you're looking at, and he.
No different when you came back.
Yeah.
Once you were here, then it was your decision whether or not to run for sheriff and to take that forward. And it isn't like Griggs County hasn't been through this before.
Right.
I mean, if you all remember, there was 30, 40 years ago, there was a major uproar and Vernon Fugelstead became the sheriff. The county didn't disintegrate into mass chaos. It
No.
wasn't quite as good as it should have been, but it didn't fall apart. So we can get through this, but we just have to do it correctly. And with the focus, I believe, on encouraging someone local to step up. No matter what their qualifications are, I think someone local is always going to be better than someone from the outside.
Right. So my intentions are to put out a Facebook post on this. And the only purpose of that is going to be, because the rumor mill is already rolling, I thought it would be to just let the citizens know that they're covered. Right now, there's a law enforcement here, and that's the message I'm going to put out. So.
Yeah, and if you would, when you're doing that, it would be okay to advise the people that the sheriff's position is open to anybody and everybody that lives in the
Yeah.
county, and that we will, and we have in the past, trained an untrained person to be sheriff, Paul Hendrickson.
Yeah, for last three
So-
3 months, I have been shaking the doors and knocking and trying. There's just nobody out there now that just is interested.
I think our best chance is to try to encourage someone locally to step
That's
up
what I
and
mean.
do it. Yeah.
I've been trying to get locals interested in it that would come on
Okay,
board.
I
and
see.
We could get them trained and get them working and see if that's what they want to do.
Right. So anyway, that's our job is not to try to give a long-term fix to this. It's to give a short-term fix to get us to the point where the citizens can decide.
New blood, new day. What it's gonna be.
So when you don't have to answer it, it's just my curiosity. When you ran for sheriff, I assume then that you were you believed that you could get the training waived.
Believed it, but
Yeah,
it just
okay.
didn't pan out. I
That's
employed an
all right.
attorney. I employed an attorney too to help through. We got
Yeah.
at least we got through the having to go to the next academy or not work because the statute on sheriff supersedes administrative rules by the post board,
Okay.
and that's been challenged and it's been approved by the sheriff's side. But I have to show significant steps towards, according to statute, significant steps toward full licensure within 12 months. That means going to the academy,
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah, I mean, because for me to assume otherwise, that you knew you couldn't be sheriff and ran for sheriff didn't set well. But that wasn't the case. You thought you could waive the academy and, okay.
And and I'll just lay out there my initial consult with my doctors where, yeah, we think you can do it, but deterioration of my ankle's got to the point now where they say they don't want me to do that. Because it's a matter of cut it off or glue it shut. I'm not going either way.
Anything else on the, what is our agenda item? Sheriff Hooks, Sheriff's Office.
I probably should bring something up. I'm concerned about the use of my assistant by the sheriff's department. She got a call at 1:45 on Monday morning because they couldn't get a hold of our sheriff.
Yep.
And she shouldn't have to do that. That's not her job. She's an 8 to 4:30 person. She didn't sign up for that. So,
So before we go any further with that, Jamie, you gotta know the full story here. Number one is, I had someone working that night because I couldn't be there and I couldn't be available. So don't come here and start talking out of school.
Well, I'm.
Because
I'm-
if we want to go down these
wait.
roads, we'll go down these roads.
Wait,
Jamie. You have nothing to do with my office.
Bob, you can let him finish what he's saying, and then we'll go
so
to
if
this.
we do want to open this can of words to all worms, that's all I was going to say.
No.
But I received a phone call at 3:30 from from Beckman from
Yep.
Steele County, also concerned that nobody could get a hold of you or could get a hold of
Right.
Ryan. So that's it's concerning to me. It was a pretty serious situation. I got a call from school because it was based on school too. The next day they were concerned.
But we knew that night already that it was not Griggs County, it was Kepler County. That was already handled through. So anyway, we're through with that situation. Those things do happen. I've done the same thing for Beckman several times. So, that's where we're at.
So we're on the issue here of
Yeah.
of Jamie's assistant, and it is his assistant, and
Yes, it is.
and so we need to follow through. What do you want done?
Well, I just don't think it's fair to put her in that position. I don't think that I agreed to allow her to help the sheriff's department out, because that's the right thing to do. But I don't think that she should be put in the situation, getting called at 1:45 in the morning. That's not her job, that's not her job description, she's not paid for it.
Well, who got her number to call her at 1:45 in the morning? That person needs to know that,
Well, one of the Steele County deputies did,
You don't-
because he was looking for Bob.
right?
So, she didn't answer the call. Her phone was on silent, but still,
Oh.
it's still a 1:45 a.m. phone call. Her job duties end at 4:30.
Right. Right.
And what they called for, they're trying to locate some information for some phone numbers. You know why? Because Annie knows all those things. That's why.
But it's 1:45 in the morning. Her job ends at 4:30 on Friday. It's not at 1:45 on Monday morning, Bob.
I know. She's very active in the sheriff's department by her own choice. She's not forced to, and she wants to be involved, and she is more than accommodating to help. I tried to get her position changed so she could work jointly with us both. That was turned down. And
But the moral of the story is, at the end of the day, she's hired from 8 until
Agreed.
4:30, and
Agreed.
it was 1:45 in the morning when she got the phone call.
agreed.
I'm all about doing whatever we can do to help the county out, but also I have to look out for the best interest of the people I work with, so we can keep them.
Suppose you could just tell Steele County, don't be calling this gal at 1:45 in the morning. She's
Well, I
office
mean,
hours.
If it isn't Steele County, that isn't, you can't go warn everybody not to call, because you
No.
don't know who's gonna call. So what is the solution to this, guys?
The bottom line is, I tell you what, my office right now is in a much better place today than it was when I took over because of Annie's involvement. She's a rock star employee. She gets it. She's fast. She likes to help the sheriff's office. She enjoys it. She makes no bones about it, and she likes working with Jamie's office and the DES. She's a wonderful employee, and that's all I can say about it. I mean, I have no control to go anywhere else with that other than that.
What do you want done, Jimmy?
Well, I guess I would prefer that she stick with my office and not put her in that position to be called at 1:45 in the morning, or
So you don't want her working in the sheriff office at all, and only you, or are you saying?
I think that for right now, I think that's the
Or-
fairest thing to do to her.
Or it wasn't the sheriff who gave her phone number out to say, hey, this is a person to call in my office.
But because the sheriff didn't respond to those phone calls, she got called. That's the problem.
But
This is,
there's too many questions on that, yeah.
this
But
is,
then I'm gonna flat out say it. She's my damn employee.
that's right, that's just.
She's and I've never done this before. This isn't my character.
That's just what I was gonna bring up.
She's my employee. She's an employee of the state attorney's office. She shouldn't be having to deal with that shit, and she has.
Yeah.
So it's done. She's my employee only.
That's the stance
Don't
we've
roll
taken.
your eyes at me, Stephanie.
That's the stance
I mean,
we've taken
It's
with,
ridiculous to put her in that situation.
Jamie?
so guys, that's the stance we've taken with all the offices. We have let the person in charge of that office deal with their employees, from the sheriff's office to the auditor to the treasurer to everybody. The state's attorney is no different. So he has, just as we can't tell any one of these entities who to hire or who to fire, we can't tell them where they have to work. That is our position. We allocate the money, and then they're in charge of it until the money's no longer allocated. And that's just the way we've done this. And we can't make exceptions on either side of that, because pretty soon then we're asked to make decisions on, well, you gotta fire my assistant here, or you have to hire this one here, or there has to be uniformity to it, and the system is set up that way. The discussion now will be between Jamie and the sheriff's department. That's the compromise
Correct.
between those two.
The other thing is, you know, the sheriff's office needs help, so does the state's attorney, that's the other issue, you follow me? And there's always give and take, you know?
But okay,
I understand
So
what-
here's the problem.
I know that.
My assistant has helped wherever my assistant has needed, whenever.
No, I agree with you, Jim, I'm just saying that we need, sometimes it's, you know.
So
try to help
why
each
am I
other
the
out.
guy that's being pressured by you guys to when I? That's not the issue
We're-
here.
That's right. It's,
No.
we should have no dog in this fight. It's his employee.
Correct.
He
but-
gets to make the decision, and by us even talking about, well, you should get along, is out of bounds. Then we're stepping over the line that we haven't stepped over before.
Then why is he bringing it to the meeting?
I think
Because
he
that's
wants-
the right thing to
A
do.
courtesy
Well,
to
I think he
tell-
wants
Okay.
to make it more public, so
Okay.
anybody that can hear it knows that not to call Andy, to either call one of the sheriffs or somebody more associated
Right.
to the
Right.
Because I
deputies
didn't want to be the
instead
guy
of calling
that,
Andy.
that said, hey,
Exactly, I agree.
I'm not going to be cooperative in the county because that's not, like I said, not what I typically do.
Yeah.
I'm fully transparent with the commission, always been fully transparent with the commission, and that's the way I plan to continue my business.
So,
So I think you guys needed to know that because that's been an issue, and she has been helping out, and you guys have been aware of that. I told you guys that I would make her available for the sheriff's department.
okay.
Yeah, on that note, for the taxpayers, it has been an unbelievable opportunity of goodness. It makes total sense because, we'll just leave it there.
Thank you. Anything
So
else?
now, can we move on that for 1 second?
Yep.
I guess I'm gonna ask the commission, what do I do for clerical?
Well, there was no clerical included in this year's budget. I don't think it was included in next year's budget. So that will have to be looked at then, as soon as we get a new sheriff in place. We'll have to sit down and make all of these have these discussions with whoever is gonna take over. I mean, it doesn't help, again, we can't, I'd much prefer if you were the sheriff that we're dealing with, but that's not
Correct.
gonna be, that's not gonna be the case. So, we have to wait until we can talk to the person who's going to have to follow through with all this. And this is gonna make some drastic changes. There's gonna be changes. Each sheriff is gonna run this department differently than the last one. The interim sheriff is not gonna get to make policy to speak of. They're just gonna have to be interim to get by till we get to a point where we have an elected sheriff that they can make policy.
Well, the only way that person's not gonna make policy, if you guys make an attempt to let them not make policy, because once you appoint that sheriff, they're as good as elected. And that's black and white in the statute code, it's been challenged 100, I'm just telling you. There's no doubt of it, but there's as far as what you do for the budget going forward, that'll be something you work with them.
That is the policy. See,
But
see,
as
the
far as
control,
policy goes, he can make policy in his first day in office.
the control of the policy is the budget, as always,
Right.
with everything.
Well,
So,
You don't have a lot of policies that go way beyond budget.
I know. So anyway, that's where we sit. We're completely,
Well, I'm gonna put it
we're
on.
completely in flux here.
Yeah.
We need to wait and see what to act on when we know who we're gonna have to deal with.
I'm gonna put it on notice right here and now. The sheriff's office without clerical help is gonna be a detriment to the whole situation, period. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. So again, let's wait and see who we get, see what employees we have next meeting.
Sounds good.
And I hope you're here to tell us who we have and who we don't.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yep.
Anything else on that subject? I would encourage everybody to, in their off time, have a look at what happens when a elected official needs to be appointed or resigns and put into place. It's laid out fairly straightforward in the century code. It
I'll have a
doesn't take
memo
much.
with everybody before the next meeting.
Yeah.
So everybody can take a look at it.
Because we have to avoid steering it one way or the other. It needs to be, every option needs to be explored, and then every option needs to be given a rating, and which is best, which do we believe is best as a group for the county, for the overall situation.
True, but then it goes back to citizens of the county too, what they want too. You know,
They
that's what I'm saying.
they will at the
Yeah,
first,
that's what I'm,
I mean, I would, one of the options Jamie's gonna give you is we could appoint until the next,
Yeah.
until this term expires. I wouldn't be in favor of that, because that takes away the decision of the citizens. Because then you'd have somebody appointed for 3 years without them getting to make
correct,
the
yeah.
decision, right?
So what you want, basically, we can appoint, or not appoint, but put some interim position till the June primary, correct? And then if he wants to run for that position, he goes in the June primary, then he runs in the November election.
The
Correct.
the language says
Yeah.
the next countywide election, I
Yeah,
believe.
be
Yeah.
June and then November
And then on the ballot, it would be
No.
for the
Unexpired
unexpired
term.
2-year term.
term.
Yeah.
That would be the way I would see doing it, if you guys want to do it differently.
Well, that's what we kind of did with Bob, in a way, you know. He got on, we appointed him, and then he ran, yes, you know, basically.
But that was
it was
the
That was
right
his
election.
election cycle.
Yes, I've been saying that, but it was still, it was similar to the same situation, though.
What would happen would be
Yeah.
this term would just be a 2-year term.
Yeah,
The next sheriff elected would be a 2-year term, and then he would have to run.
And then the
congressional.
4 year, then
then
the
I
4
come
year
up,
after that.
eventually he'll get into the system again in 4 years, right?
No, that would, the 2-year term would put him on the 4-year cycle.
That's what I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Like, so when I came
Then
into,
he'd get back
when I
on.
came
Yes.
into this office,
Yeah.
I ran, and a year later I had to run again.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
We don't change the cycle, we don't change the intervals, we just shorten up the interval to put them onto the schedule,
Yeah.
okay? Before we go to Alan, Tax Director Service Contract, Alan Vittermeer. There we go.
And he is on Zoom.
Hello, Alan.
Hi, guys. So,
Before we start this, Tax Director Service Contract, Alan Vittermeer. There we go.
And he is on Zoom.
Hello, Alan.
hi, guys. So,
Before we start this, if we're going to do this on a contract basis, we have to advertise for that and let anybody that might be interested have the same opportunity. We've advertised for employee, but we haven't advertised this on a contract basis. So we can't really discuss the terms of any of this until we have advertised for 3 weeks, Sam?
I thought it was 2, but
So that's kind of the situation we're in, because we haven't made the public aware that this could be a contract position.
oh yeah, no, I understand that completely, and this is just to put a contract in front of you, for you guys to entertain, because I know you're in a situation where you haven't had a tax director for a while, so, we completely understand you having to advertise for this, and that there potentially could be other bidders on this process, but just consider this contract that's in front of you our bid if it does go to the bidding process, and then I don't have to resubmit a bid price.
We really shouldn't even be considering even looking at the contract until we've put it out for the public, because that is giving an advantage. So we won't even consider what you put before us until we've actually asked to have something put before us.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. I understand.
And we appreciate the offer, but we have to do this so that we don't have a backlash later on.
No, understood.
Very good. So with that, we will need a motion in order to advertise the position for both an employee or on a contract basis.
We already have the employee advertised, so we just need the motion to
Contract.
advertise contract. So move.
Yeah, and we'll need to have that go before Jamie. He'll have to write that up and get it out so it fits correctly. We have a motion by Edlin to, I assume, direct the state's attorney to draft a contract for the employment of a contract
ad.
yeah. How do we word this?
To draft a advertisement for contract.
Contract tax
Service-
director.
Contracts, yeah, contract
Contracted tax
director services, yep. State that for us, no. So we have it right.
I make a motion to advertise for a contracted tax director.
All right,
In
and
Griggs-
have Jamie draft the documents in order to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion to have Jamie draft documents in order for us to advertise for a contracted tax
And you want me to
director.
put it in right after he does it?
Well, we want to put it in right away so we can get 2 weeks, because if we can get 2 weeks, then we can discuss it at the next meeting already.
We have to be able to look at the contract before it gets in, so if it's.
The ad.
The ad
ad.
before it goes in.
You want to look at the ad
Yeah,
before
look at
it
the
goes.
ad before it goes in, because
Sure,
then we're just
sure.
going to push it out even longer.
Well, that's the way the system is. We have to okay whatever, we're asking for the employment, so the state's attorney is gonna give us a recommendation, we have to
So-
approve the recommendation.
But my
And-
question on that is, when we said advertise for a tax director anyways, we didn't have to look at an advertisement, you just advertised for it, because we said advertise for it. So on this one here, if you're gonna advertise for it, it's pretty simple, just advertise for a tax director, put it out there for 2 weeks and
No,
roll with
because
it.
I assume Jamie's gonna draft a contract,
I
so
don't-
we have to look at the contract that
But he
will
doesn't,
tie us.
they would send us a contract, is what they would have to do, not us draft the contract.
No, we have to specify, otherwise we'll have many different contracts and we couldn't compare them. So we have to put out a contract, here's what we want, and then have people give us a price on that. Because if he sends us a contract, if somebody, this entity sends us a contract, this entity sends us a contract, and this one sends us a contract, and they're not all giving us the same services, how do we decide which is the
We
best value?
choose the one that gives us the services that we want.
That's
That's
not the
how
way,
you-
that's not the way it works when you contract things with a government entity. And we're not in a position here where there's nothing coming up on the agenda that needs to be done right now. We've got a month to do this or more. It isn't like this has to be done now or we're gonna lose out on something. Let's go through and do it correctly, and correctly is doing it the way that we're laying it out here. It's just not a big deal.
So what services do we, okay, have Jamie
Well,
grade
that's what
something up,
Jamie, that's what
it's just like-
Jamie's gonna read, I assume, what the duties are of the tax director and put it into a contract form and then we're going to offer that out on the street, no different than we would on a road or street or anything like project or anything else. That's the way it works. It's not rocket science here. So we'll need a second to have Jamie putting together a contract for the tax director.
I'll second that.
Second by Avery. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Sam, you'll take care of that?
I already had Trampy that seconded that motion.
Oh,
Did he?
Mhm.
that's fine.
Both of them did, it doesn't matter.
We're both.
As long as it passed. Griggs County value changes.
Just to let you guys know, page 33, this is the letter of all of the changes that the State Board of Equalization instructed us to make. So
What page, 30?
33, and then it goes, the real changes are on 35.
So has everybody had a time to look at this?
Yeah, I looked at it.
So this is the changes that were put into the system to give you the taxable value that was presented at the last meeting.
Yeah, so we'll just go through it let's read it real quick. City of Binford's commercial value is going to be decreased by 29%. City of Cooperstown's commercial value is going to be decreased by 42%. The City of Hannaford's commercial value is going to be decreased by 16%. Everything outside of the jurisdictions of these three cities is going to be increased by 40%. The overall increase in value to the county by these commercial values is gonna be 16%. On to the cities. Binford's residential value will be decreased by 15%. Cooperstown's will increase by 2%, and Hannaford's will increase by 14%. Everything outside of the three cities will be increased by 27%. This will increase the overall value of the cumulative residential property in Griggs County by 12%. There will be a 9% overall valuation increase to all agricultural valuations in Griggs County. This was all ordered by the state. If you remember, at the equalization meeting, we took the individual townships and cities at their valuations and approved them. Griggs County does not have any assessment property. Everything that is within Griggs County is held within the townships and the cities. So this was the state stepping in and changing these valuations. I agree with all of them, other than the rise in commercial property outside of the cities. I don't understand why that took place. The biggest one of those commercial properties was just assessed not that long ago. Professional assessor did it. Why were they off by 40%? If they were, then no one should have paid them, because from the time that property was assessed, that CHS property has increased every time there's been an increase in commercial property in the county. It isn't like it was missed. It's gone up every time other commercial property's gone up. So what this is saying is that the original assessment of CHS and all other commercial properties in the county was wrong. And that's just not possible. I would hope that this can be remedied next year at the equalization, but that will be at our equalization, but that will be a subject that will have to be discussed. Mine doesn't do that. So the end result of this is that the state took this out of our hands, and they took action in order to put these valuations in place.
For the love of God.
Any discussion on any of this? There's nothing for us to vote on. They have instructed the auditor to follow through with this. As you might imagine, there's going to be some businesses that are very unhappy about it. I'm very happy that a lot of the valuations were decreased. Disagreed with the valuations of a lot of these properties for a long time, but they were too high, and finally the state agreed on one thing, but I'm not sure why they went to the 40% increase on the commercial properties out in the Netherlands. I don't get it.
And then on here they say direct Griggs County to complete a reassessment of their commercial and residential property for tax year 2025.
But you realize that
So
Griggs County doesn't have any properties they assess, so any cost to that will have to be passed on to the cities and the townships. And you seem happy that the state is telling us to do that. This is a huge hit to the taxpayers. Not only are they going to have to pay to have their property valued, but they're more than likely the end result of all this is an increase in value, and which amounts to an increase in taxes. This is silliness, and I don't know why or what purpose this serves. So why is the state concerned whether or not Griggs County is at the same valuation as Steele County or Foster County or Eddy County? There's no benefit to that. Why would we be concerned if one of the townships has a lesser valuation than the other? Wouldn't that promote a business to move to the entity that has the lower valuation? pay less taxes. Why shouldn't Griggs County be able to attract business because we have less taxes than a neighboring county? Why does the state step in and not allow that? We don't have the same circumstance as CO County. We don't have the same circumstance as Foster. They don't have the same circumstance as us. Why does the state seem to want to lump us all together and stifle competition? If you've got a big business that wants to come and wants to locate somewhere in the state, wouldn't you, as that business owner, look to a township or a county that has lower taxes? Of course you would. This is self-defeating, this nonsense, and they're using the dollar as a value. A property doesn't go up in price. It goes up. It takes more dollars in order to buy the property, but the property didn't get any more value to it. The dollar got devalued. If you take any one of these properties and go back 50 years and compare how many ounces of gold, which is a standard of value, it took to buy that property, almost without exception, the property that you could buy with the same amount of ounces of gold, you could buy the property then and now. Now the price in dollars went up by 5 times, but the ounces of gold, the actual value of the property didn't change. So I think there needs to be some pushback on this. And again, Stephanie seemed very excited that we're going to have to reassess these properties, which are going to amount to $100,000 or more, probably more than that. That's going to be put onto the backs of the townships and the cities. And who pays that? The taxpayers pay it.
It would be nice to be equalized again.
That we're equalized every year, and the state just says right here, this equalized it.
It's helping. Yep.
No, they certify that after their equalization, just like we certify after ours, that the properties have been equalized every year. That's why they did this.
Mm-hmm. And then they'd like us to have us to be reassessed for all of the commercial and residential property for the tax year 2025.
For what purpose? Well, don't nod your head. What purpose? There has to be a purpose to this, Stephanie. It can't be because they said so. And the purpose has to benefit the people that live in Cooperstown. How does it benefit the people that live in Cooperstown, Jesse, Binford, Griggs County by raising their taxes and by charging them money to have their taxes raised? You tell me that.
Why is equalizing a house or getting your property assessed raising your tax necessarily always raising a tax?
Not always, but anytime a taxing entity is bumped up against their mill levy limit, a raise in valuation automatically raises the tax the same percentage. So let's use your favorite charity here, the school. They
Why is that my favorite charity? I've never said it was.
They are up against the mill levy limit. So if you raise the valuation of a property by 10%, that will raise your tax by 10% in the school district. That's why it makes a difference. And the reason that it shouldn't be done that way is if an entity is against the mill levy limit, they have the opportunity to go to the taxpayer and say, we need more mills. We'd like you to vote on that. Will the school, will the county, will the city be granted more mills? The citizens get to decide. The way we're doing it here, the citizens have no choice. They're just, you pay. And the reason, of course, that they don't take it to the taxpayers is because they're scared the taxpayer will say no. And the taxpayer is supposed to be in charge, and we're supposed to enable the taxpayer, not throw roadblocks into their path. And the school, the 2 superintendents were out at this equalization meeting lobbying to raise valuations. That's how I know that the school is involved in it. And if you want to read the minutes of it, I'll show them to you. I'm still waiting to see who else was out there with them. I haven't got the sign-up sheets yet. But we know for a fact that there was an appointment, and they were on the agenda. The 2 superintendents were out there lobbying to raise valuations in Griggs County, and they were shut down, thankfully, by the state, and said, you just do your budget and let us worry about the valuations, in so many words. So the question of motivation for this, Stephanie, is already long past. We know what the motivation is, and it shouldn't be.
Nope.
Okay? That's my word on it. If you want to explain what you want done, go ahead, be my guest. Anything else on the value changes? Anything else? Okay, we'll move on. Finley Farmers Elevator Appraisal.
I got it. It's just too big and had pictures and stuff. I was not gonna print it off. So if you guys would like to see it, I did send it out last night.
That really needs to go to the township.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, we did.
Yep. Keeping a file for us, but we were just, yeah.
So you want me to just go talk to the 3 supervisors then, for the township?
Present that to the township, and then they will present it to the auditor as evaluation, and then the auditor will present it to the treasurer to put it on the taxes. Courthouse copiers.
You guys asked me to bring this back. So what it is we have a contract with them. And so my contract is with the maintenance of my machine would then save us that $92.85 a month.
If
So
you leased it.
yes,
Yep.
But we own the machines now.
yes.
Right, so
That's cool.
But it's-
so you realize that we're giving them the machines in order to,
They will give us a discount or
no, but I mean,
trade.
we gave up, the value of the machines is $2,000. Is how they valued them, correct?
Yep.
And then we won't, the next time this, so how long is this good for, this contract? 60 months?
Yes.
At $193 a month.
And we're paying, is averaging,
$244 for maintenance, you said.
So I wasn't really sure what other information you wanted.
That would be reduced
I
to
did.
151. So we're currently averaging 244 a month for a maintenance contract. That would reduce to 151 per month, saving $92. Or 60 month savings of $5,571. So if we did the 60-month fixed lease at $93 per month, that also includes the maintenance. So right now we're paying $244 for the maintenance on what we own. But the leased one, we get the copier and we pay the $193 a month for that, right?
well,
Perfect.
yeah, if the 244, yeah, I mean, is that an average for 2 months, or is that an average over the life, of the copier?
I think he said that he went back for the year.
Right, okay.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Are they giving us
there's-
a lot of problems, Sam?
Yes,
Okay.
mine is.
Okay.
Mine is bad. They've had to redo the fuser many times.
Sure.
I have a piece of paper in my office to show you exactly what it's doing. I mean, it smears like a son of a gun. They've cranked up the temperature. They've tried everything.
so what's your budget
Yeah.
per month for, right now in your office for the copiers, or who's taking care of the copiers?
General courthouse.
And what is it?
Oh my goodness gracious. Copier's $2,000. You guys budgeted for.
A year.
Mm.
Right.
Yes.
Oops. So
What would that monthly payment?
I'm for this.
151.18 would be our monthly payment.
The what?
So what would?
No, that's the savings.
Oh, that's it.
Wait, I'm guessing that it's gonna get worse and worse for maintenance, right, Sam? Is that what's gonna happen?
What,
You know, you're gonna have more calls.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling them when I have issues, and it's just gonna keep getting worse. I mean, until basically it goes kaput on me, but.
I support a lease option. I lease my equipment at Annetta Parkview. We use it a lot, and they age so fast. They don't. By the time you have a new one, there's a new one out. So then that way, when it gets old, they just give me a new one, and we just keep continuing because we're always going to continue using it. It'll never go away. It'll never.
The machine that I have is 8 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like the leasing option. I make a motion to lease a new copier.
2.
Well, so
Yep.
what is the leasing option?
Available options: 60-month fixed leasing at. Right here. This is what leasing option is. This is if you want to buy it straight out.
No, well, what's the monthly payment?
Is the lease
What's the monthly payment?
$193 per month for the leasing option to lease the copiers. And then the maintenance contract will be reduced to $151. So she'll be paying $193 for that, and then $151 for the maintenance, copier maintenance, rather than paying $9,000 buying this and then paying that. You'll be just leasing it. Make sense?
Yeah, it does, but I mean, we can't have a motion to go ahead and
Right.
lease something without the amounts that we're doing it and where it's coming from.
Oh,
That was my
I'll make a motion
point.
to lease the copiers for
I understood what it was.
93. Zip it. 93 per month. Along with the maintenance contract for $151.18 per month.
So it would be both of them, the 193 and the 151?
Yep, 193 is to lease the copier instead of paying the $9,000 to buy it. And then the 151 is the maintenance for that, and that includes everything. They give you all the ink, they give you all the everything.
And you're good with the trade-in?
Yep.
Too.
Is that per copier?
No, this is for all of it.
It's $344 a month.
Because it would be the 2, the 2, the 2, the 2.
$344 a month for both.
So we have a motion by Edlin to lease the pair of copiers for 60 months at $193 per month, with a service contract for the pair of $151.18 for a total of $344.18 per month for 60 months. Now we're trading in, they're giving us $2,000 on the overall trade, which doesn't amount to much.
Yeah.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Second by Tranby. Discussion. Of course, the discussion is, where's the money gonna come from? This isn't a budgeted item.
That's what I figure. If she's got 2,000
How much-
budgeted.
You get so much in your budget?
You guys budgeted 2,000 for this year. For those.
So my question on this is, one copper would be for you. Who?
The other one is down in the copier room.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that out of your budget too, or what?
That's with both of these come out of the general fund copier line item.
Okay. Is that both just for the 2,000, or is there 2,000 for each one?
Nope, there'd be 2,000 for both.
Okay, because if we do 2,000 for both, we're over by 2,000.
$130.
$130.
Why can't we just do one copier?
Do you have issues with both of them or not?
I don't use the other one, so it's just been, this is the contract for both of them. And then I have one in my office. Let me go through here. Shoot. What the heck?
Who uses the other copier?
Everybody else.
They don't have copies of copiers?
They have littler ones within their office, but then the big one is down in the copier room.
We have a full-size one down on our end.
The big one in the copier room too, you can scan the stuff into your email, so then you can send it off that way. For like my copier, I have a copier, a little one, but I can't like email stuff to myself.
It's not a scanner.
Yep,
It's just a standard little
Yep.
copier.
yep.
Yeah, and you guys budgeted 2,000 for next year as well for copier.
Where can we get the other $2,130 if we do both?
Um,
Wouldn't a relevant question be, do we need both?
Well, if the other one gets used a lot, then yeah, but I get where you're coming from.
But everybody would have to go walk into the auditor's office if they want to scan something.
No, the other one would
Everything's-
still stay there. It would just cut, it would still be there. We'd still have two.
You're just saying just replace hers, being that we're just having issues with hers?
I mean, that's an option. I mean, there's money to replace one,
Yeah.
and the other one still works, I would imagine. Yours still works.
Which one's used the most? The one yours?
well, I use mine.
That's used the most of all the systems, right?
I mean, I can't say that. I just use it. I use it for my office, and so I mean, all of your commissioner packets are done out of there. I mean, how many did we do for the budget over and over, election stuff? But I can't say that the one down in the copier room isn't used because I don't use it. But I know, the treasurer's office and all the other offices use that one. But I personally don't.
But I mean, it's hooked to the system, correct? You don't have to walk down and actually physically take the paper down there. You can send it down to be copied to the copy room if you want.
That's printing. Yeah, if you want to print it, you
Yeah.
can send down, print it.
Yep.
Yeah, so it isn't like you have to actually stand down and do anything. You get the file ready, you hit print, and if it's set up for the copier in the copy room, it'll print it out and you walk down and pick up the paper.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't want you to have to work with less equipment.
My office doesn't have the little printers like the other offices do because I do have the big one. I don't know why that was a thing as to why my office got the big one. I'm not sure it was there before I was. I mean, if another office wants to use it, I've never said no. You welcome to come and use it, obviously.
I don't think you want to downgrade and just get a plain printer. Do you scan a lot? too?
I scan a lot, and every commissioner meeting I scan these into the files. I mean, I scan a lot of stuff into you guys. I
wouldn't.
constantly using that stuff, and that's how we fact stuff. That's how yeah.
So if we got
And
one.
once the new year come, we could raise your budget if we need to meet that.
It's within the general fund, so it's not within my budget.
Or we can read, it's within the general funds.
Mhm.
Well, we can make adjustments come the new year if need be.
Is it just yours having issues, or is it both of them?
Maddie, have you seen any issues with the one down in the copier room at all?
No, I don't use that one very often. It's just if I need to scan something in my email. I know Jeff uses it a lot. I think he's the one that uses it the most.
Like, you don't
And then I
see-
know like if Kelly has to scan stuff in or make copies for people, she goes down there, she makes copies.
But you don't hear it having issues type of
No,
thing.
no.
You want to get at least see about getting at least for this, the one,
Yeah.
change the one,
Upgrade mine.
and not the
I
other.
want to point out the obvious, guys.
Okay.
This was all printed on these this supposedly defective printer, and I don't see anything wrong with any of these packets. I don't see anything that I can't read when it's put in front of me, and we're not graded on on prettiness.
The one thing that where I see it the most is, when I do election things, the ones that I have to, the inserts of the election stuff, those get really messy, especially when it's been going for a while and stuff like that. I feel that's very unprofessional for me to be sending something like that with election stuff out like that. I do have a copy of what it's doing. If you'd like to see that. It doesn't happen all the time. No, it does not. But
What I'm looking at is if we're sticking, an average $200 into it a month, right? You're saying that if we're sticking that in, but we can get a new one and lease it for less, and it'll cost us less, and it's still within your budget to do it, I don't see why that would be an issue. That's what I'm looking at.
For one of them, then.
That's
Yeah,
what-
for one of them.
So maybe we want to just,
See what it's gonna
On
cost
that.
us just to lease just the one to replace yours. Can
It'll
you
be,
do that?
it'll be half of this, I imagine.
It probably would, but that's just, I would say, just get a natural number for them, so we know for sure.
I do that.
So we have a motion on the table and a second to purchase these two copiers. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay.
Yeah.
I would go with nay because she's gonna get a new
We're
one.
gonna let it kill and then do it again.
Yep.
Okay, so all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion fails. Now, the new one.
Yes. Do we need to get a motion for her to go to get the
If you want, it doesn't matter.
no, she can just go
Okay,
and get it. I don't need to do a motion.
so you wanna give her the go ahead to go and get a price on one of them. All right, on the record. Everybody okay with that?
yep.
Okay, good work. Thank you. Old courthouse, new courthouse.
I've got nothing.
Log cabin,
What's that?
log cabin.
Oh, nothing,
the Historical Society came and grabbed the keys, so they have now.
oppression.
Yep. So they're good. We did look into the insurance on it. Unfortunately, that would be still under our insurance since it's on our property.
Okay.
So we did tell them, please, don't be just letting anybody and everybody in there, because it's not in the best condition, and we'd like to keep everybody safe. So there's that. Anything else?
Is it gonna have a shelter over it, or is it just gonna be exposed to the?
Don't know if they're gonna come and get the whole thing.
Mhm.
They're gonna physically get it and move it out of there,
Okay.
seriously. And then go with measurements off of that. And then build a new one down at the fairgrounds.
Okay, so the old one's gonna be gone.
Yeah, they're gonna come and get it, 'cause they want the specs off it. That's what I understand.
Okay. Anything else? Old courthouse, new courthouse.
No.
Future business.
You guys do have your tax sale on Tuesday. Please do not forget about that. I
Oh, that's
do
right.
need a quorum at least.
Tuesday,
Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning.
do we have any properties on it?
We have one.
Okay. Okay,
Are we selling one that we can sell this time or not?
yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes we sell people's property we don't own.
Can you send a reminder of that one out?
Yeah, she will. She'll
Yes, I'll
notice
do it the night
You
before.
can do that,
Just-
we can do that over video or phone too, on the same thing, like we do the meetings, right?
Yeah, can you, I can totally zoom in on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as
Yeah,
there's three people
three
here
people.
and they all vote yes,
Yes.
then we're okay.
Okay.
The quorum, it still has to have a majority vote of the 5.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's fine. Anything else on future business?
So probably just have it on there for what, next meeting for the stuff for Sheriff Hook, and then probably just if you can, the stuff about the copier.
Copier and
Hold it.
tax director
Yeah,
contract.
you hear that, Jamie?
What about Sheriff Hook? What was I doing for Sheriff Hook?
Just an update, I think,
Okay.
on the situation, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was gonna look into his budget a little bit more too for you or something like that.
What's that?
He was gonna look into that budget issue that he's running into and get a.
Yeah, he's gonna give us a revised addition to to his budget so that we can, if we're going to amend his budget, we need to know what to amend it with, how much money.
Mm.
Kind of uncharted grounds here.
So, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by the adjourner to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Avriel. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Ah.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. 3:51.
54.
354, it's off by.
Good timing.
What is it?
Yeah.
I now have to go to my.
3:54. Clock's wrong.
I'm not gonna talk to you quickly.